Hiya, my name's Charlie and welcome to my channel and welcome to my weekly reads. How are you guys? Let me know in the comments below. Before I get into all the nutty stuff, because I've had a good week this week, I'm going to talk about the books that I've finished since the last time I spoke to you. So yeah, the first ones I'm going to start with, actually kind of all the non-bookery books that I've read / am currently reading. And then I'll just dive onto the booker and then I'll rank them as I do every week. So yeah, the first one I'm going to start with is one that I've been reading the last few weeks, which is The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. And this is, Caroline O'Donoghue is an Irish author, so continuing the Irish author theme. And I've just really enjoyed this book. There are content warnings for discussions of abortion. That part is obviously integral to one of the discussions that's going on there, because it's talking about women's rights in Ireland, and it's to do with the abortion laws and things. So yeah, but just be aware of it, obviously, if you're sensitive to anything to do with that. This book is about, obviously, the title character of Rachel, and it's about her friendship with her gay best friend James. She's also for flatmates. James is also her flatmate, and it's also about, there's also a university professor that gets involved in this, and several other characters. So it's sort of Rachel's relationships and all of that. It was just a really good book, and yeah, I thought, yeah, really well done. It does go in a non-linear fashion. So one of the things I loved about this is that I loved all like the little reveals that sort of you get. So because of, obviously she's narrating it, I guess, from the future about incidents that's happened. Yeah, so it doesn't always feel linear, but yeah, I think so that might confuse some of you guys. But yeah, I like I said, I thought it was really cleverly done. It sort of like challenges your perception about the events that are happening. So I love how all of that like shifts as you get towards the end of the book. So yeah, overall strong read, like I said, and definitely I want to read whatever the author brings out in the future, because I believe this was her debut. So yeah, that's that one. And then in terms of books I've finished more booker ones, but I'm going to go on to ones now that the non-bookery ones. I'm currently reading one that I hauled literally just, well, if you would have seen it on Wednesday's video, in like my bookshop crawl / haul, which is the last Akwaeke and Emezi book that I have to finish, which is Content Warning Everything. So yeah, I'm about halfway through. I always take my time with poetry collections. It's just what I always do. This is only like 50 pages, so probably by the next time I speak to you next Sunday, I may have already finished this. But yeah, Emezi is just amazing, and they never fail to surprise me with just how many different things they can tackle just so superbly. So yeah, this is good. That's that. I'm also listening to a non-fiction called All the Houses We've Ever Lived In, Finding Home in a System That Fails Us. This is by Kieran Yates. So Kieran is telling us about all the homes that she's lived in. By the time she reached 25, she'd lived in over 20 homes, and it's basically chronicling all of that. And also it's sort of, this book speaks about what homes mean to us and what the objects and the things that we have in our homes mean to us. It's just got so many layers to it. Kieran is a journalist by trade. She has Asian parents and comes from a single parent kind of family kind of thing as she grew up. So obviously we're sort of hearing about all of that as well. And I just feel like, even though this is non-fiction, again, it's one of those ones that's told with so much heart. That's one of the things I'm kind of loving about this as well. I feel like, you know, when you listen to something, even though I haven't listened, I'm not super far into this, and this is available on Scribd as well, I'll say that. And yeah, I can tell it's going to be like a 5-star read. I feel like it's got that 5-star feeling within like it, and the audiobook is narrated by Kieran herself. Yeah, it's just really, really fascinating. It talks about marginalised communities and the barriers they have to housing. and it also talks about the difference between social housing and affordable housing. So it also addresses it's talked about Grenfell so far as well. Yeah, and just really good audiobook slash non-fiction. I feel like this one could possibly appear on the Women's Prize for non-fiction next year. That's that one. So those are all the non-bookery books that I have read. And then I'm going to go on to the bookery books that I've finished since the last time I spoke to you, and then we'll go on to the rankings that I've had. Yeah. Then, the first bookery book that I finished since the last time I spoke to you is Pearl, by Sian Hughes. Sian Hughes is also a poet, and you can really feel that in the writing of this book. It's talking about the lead character whose mother went missing when she was 8 years old. Right, so my thoughts on this book. Right, I really think there is going to be so many people that love this book. It's slow, like rambly, kind of, it's a very gentle tale. I don't think there's really anything super offensive within the pages of this book. But for me, I found a book that makes boring bread look exciting. And if you guys that have been around for a little while will know that when I say boring bread, I mean Cursed Bread. Cursed Bread was a book by Sophie Mackintosh that was longlisted for the Women's Prize this year, and I just did not get on with it. And to me, Pearl was just, even though there's literally zero, it's not really offensive, it was just so mild. It just irritated me so badly. I was like wanting so much more from it, and I was wanting something that it just couldn't give me. So even though I know there'll be loads of you guys that will love it, for me, I would rather read all of Sophie Mackintosh's backlist than have to go back to this and read Pearl. It was just a nopity note from me. It's like, oh, just no. Just no. So I'm very sorry for those of you that love it, but yeah. And I'm pleased that you do love it, but definitely not a me book. The next book I'm going to talk to you about is Old God's Time by Sebastian Barry. This was one that, if you would have seen my predictions, like for my initial predictions, this was kind of one I ranked low because I wasn't expecting to like this, and it really surprised me. So in this we follow a retired detective, Tom Kettle, and he's living in a castle at the beginning of the book, and he's very isolated. I think he's been retired at this point for like 9 months, and he gets pulled back in to sort of help with a case, and yeah, it's sort of about that. But with this book though, it's not really that like plot I just said about isn't really the main focus. The main focus of this book is Tom, obviously, and it's so it's very slow, which might not be for some of you. And I didn't like, and to begin with, it wasn't the beginning, like that third of this, I wasn't really enjoying. I felt like it was a little bit of a slog to get through. I did like the writing though, because it's very beautiful, very descriptive writing. So I immediately did like that, but I felt like in terms of plot, it's very slow. So you just have to be aware of that. But yeah, by the end of this, I was like, I felt so much. This book as well comes with a lot of content. So in terms of content warnings, this comes for real content warnings for child abuse, so and etc. So check out the content warnings of this book before you go into it, because yeah, this is brutal in places. It's very sad. Which obviously, I feel like if you guys know my taste, brutal and sad are pretty much. I don't know why. I didn't enjoy it because I don't enjoy reading about trauma, but something about this, the way it wrote about Tom and his life, it just really made me feel for him, and I really cared for him. So yeah, this was just like, it really tugged on my heart. And so that is the last book that I have finished with the Bookers. And then in terms of what I'm currently reading from the Booker, I just last night started a chapter of All the Little Bird Hearts by Viktoria, Lloyd, Barlow. And this one we follow an autistic mother, and this is an Own Voices book. And in the very first chapter, you can really feel that. So in terms of that, you can really hear that within the pages, because there's in the very first chapter, the mother talks about how she has white food days, and when she has to go out of that, it really it grates against her. It was really hard for her. It also talks about sort of the love of her daughter, and I'm just like, already within the first chapter of this, I'm just like kind of hooked. I feel like already I just love the writing style. The narrator's really good as well, which really helps for the audiobook. And yeah, I still feel like this could be one of my favourites. So yeah, that is my thoughts on that. So in the next thing I'm going to be doing is ranking all the books. So you guys make a guess in the comments below what you think they will be, where the places of the books will be, based upon the ones I have read / currently reading. I am including all the little bird hearts just because I have got a first impression of it. So right, so in at number 6, I've obviously, it will be no surprise, I've got Pearl by Sian Hughes. Then in at number 5, I've got In Ascension by Martin McInnes. Then in at number 4 is Old God's Time. I may put this higher. This might change, like, because I've literally not long finished it, so I feel like I don't want to, like, this, like, the more I think about it, the more I, like, think how good it is. So this may go up, I don't know. At the moment I'm putting it number 4 though. So Old God's Time by Sebastian Barry. Yeah, I definitely want to check out more of Sebastian Barry's books before as well, actually. Even though I feel like you have to be in the right brain space, because obviously they're quite dark books, but yeah. In at number 3, I've got If I Survive You by Jonathan Escoffery, obviously. Then in at number 2, I've got All the Little Bird Hearts by Viktoria, Lloyd, Barlow. This still could go up to number 1, but because I've only just read one chapter of it, I am still a little bit hesitant to place it higher than that. And then in at number 1 still remains The House of Doors by Tan Pan Eng. Will anything beat that? Will All the Little Bird Hearts beat it by the end of next week? We shall see. So yes, that is that. Ooh, in terms of, I forgot to mention, one of the books that I'm kind of thinking I might head to next, I'm either going to head to this next, because this could be count for Women in Translation. It's What You Are Looking For Is in the Library by Michiko Aoyama. So I'm either going to head to this, or I might read A Spell of Good Things by Ayobami Adebayo. I feel like I probably will read, I don't know whether to go for the booker book or read like this cozy book. I really want to read this. I may read this, we'll see. You'll come back next week and see which one that I did pick, if I picked either of those. So yeah, those are that. In terms of things so that's all that. I'm going to go into all like the natty stuff. Just a little note from me that I forgot to mention was that next Wednesday at 6 PM over on my channel, myself, Jem and Alice will be back for a Plod live show. So yeah, so I hope lots of you can join us. I can't wait to talk to you guys and have a little catch up about the booker and all other things, and just have a general like chats with you. So yeah, I hope lots of you can join us. I'll put all the details in the description again. But yeah, I hope lots of you can make it. Obviously you guys would have seen, hopefully you would have watched, last weekend I went to London. I was lucky enough to go on a bookshop crawl and a booktuber meetup with loads and loads of lovely booktubers. So if you haven't watched my video about that, I'll link that in the description. I just had the most wonderful day, and it was just so brilliant meeting so many new people. One of the things I forgot, there was 2 things I forgot to say about in that video. I forgot to mention I was going to do that me and Gareth, whose channel I'll link in the description obviously, we said about we were going to do a buddy read. I think it's going to be of this one, or else it's, no it's not. I think we're going to plan a buddy read of Days at the Murasaki Bookshop. I think Katie picked this one up as well actually, so I don't know if there's anyone else picked this one up from around, but yeah. So yeah, I forgot to mention that, so I'm sorry. And then also another one of the highlights was when I got a lovely hug from Roz from Scully Dandy about the books, and also Jack from Spread Book Joy. Both of them give amazing hugs as well. Both of them, so yeah, they were like highlights as well. I'm a very huggy person, and yeah, obviously Roz does give really good hugs. She's just like one of the loveliest people, and obviously I saw her in March as well, and she was just super lovely then, and she's just like exudes warmth, as do lots of the people obviously as well, but yeah, Roz and Jack gave amazing hugs, so yeah, bonus points for the hugs. Yeah, we just had the loveliest time, and then this week my family, me and my family went to Portsmouth for the day, and we went shopping, and then we went to the beach, which was just also super lovely. And if you want to go check out, if you want to kind of like see what I'm kind of up to, I don't always post everything, being honest, but sometimes I post things, and so yeah, check out my Instagram, because I'll put that in the description if you're interested in following me there. I'm not always the most active though, so just it might be worth looking. So yeah, that's that. In terms of my week ahead, I think we're kind of chill for the next week. I haven't really got any loads of plans, so I think it's just going to be kind of self-care time. I know me and my daughter might be doing some baking. We might have a couple of like local days out, nothing too far, but we shall see. Yeah, I have got like a plan to maybe do some crafting. And for those of you that don't know, I used to be like I used to do like quite a lot of like crafting type things, and then as I've got older, like I kind of neglected that kind of side of myself, and obviously I've been reading loads more. Whenever I do some like crafting projects and things like that, or like painting or etc., I feel like it really ignites my spirit and like my soul, and soul food is like important, isn't it? So yeah, fairly recently, some of you might know, I did my little bookshop. I built my little bookshop, which is behind me. I've got a video coming up for that actually. I have got to edit it. I've got all the pieces together, but I've just got to edit it down a bit more into something that's a bit more watchable. So watch out for that. But yeah, I've like recently started making my own earrings, which has been quite fun. Doing that, practicing that. I'm not altogether sure that they're any good, but you know, again, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, so yeah, those are things I might be doing over the weekend. Maybe some gardening, we shall see. Let me know what you guys are up to. Let me know, do you guys have any like hobbies and things? Let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing about things like that. And let me know what you're up to, what you're watching, what you're reading, all of that good stuff. Take care, and sending you guys lots of love. Goodbye.